I didn't know who the invigilator would be and how they would be or how they would judge. They will already probably judge our, body language as well. So I was a little worried, but it was not that hard.
So, good evening, everyone. So, today with us we have Snigdha here. So, she has scored 8 bands in her IELTS, and we bring in successful students here who have scored 8+ bands in IELTS in their IELTS test. So, Snigdha, can you introduce yourself? Tell us about your background and tell us about your hobbies and your IELTS experience.
So, hi everybody, this is Snigdha Potluri and I'm from Hyderabad. I recently graduated in 2020 and right now I'm working with Cognizant Technology Services. So, I've taken my IELTS in November during the pandemic situation, and I must say it was pretty challenging. The reason I wanted to take IELTS was I want to pursue masters sometime in the near future. I haven't decided if it's 2021 or 2022 yet. So I had a little bit of free time, so I decided to give the IELTS as well.
Oh, perfect. So, can you tell us about your, university in which you studied in, and which course are you planning for to study abroad?
Okay, so I studied in VIT Vellore Institute of Technology. I pursued undergraduation in biomedical engineering. And so the target is for masters in healthcare analytics or healthcare data science.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good target. So, did you give a CBT test or a paper-based test? And which do you think is better?
I gave a computer based test. And when I was researching about which one would be better, I felt like looking at the pros and cons of both, I felt that computer based would be easier for me because honestly, my handwriting is not that great. And I was scared that the instructor or invigilator evaluator would not understand my handwriting if I write it. And I also noticed that if you're giving a paper based test, basically while you're in the writing section specifically, you can't really strike out whatever you want, like what have you written already. So you have to already pre-plan everything and then give your final script. But comparatively on a computer-based test, you can just select all and cut out whatever you don't want, or copy paste the lines that you want or move around. So I felt that would be better. And lately we've all been using computers so much that I'm more faster on a computer. So
Definitely. If I were in your shoes, I would definitely choose computer-based because in these recent times, since we have online education as well, we've been using computer on a daily basis. So it would also help us in typing faster, get us the word count and all other benefits. So how did you prepare for your IELTS, and can you share some preparation tips?
okay, so before when I first registered, sat down for the exam, I was like, oh my god, this is an English exam, what will they ask me? Like, there is no proper hard and fast rule key. This is what they judge you on, so they're judging you on language. So before preparing, like when I started preparing, the first thing was I sat down to know what they want. I wanted to know what goes on in a IELTS exam. So first I got to know about how many sections are there and what time is given to me and stuff. And then I got to know what are the requirements. I think that was the major thing that actually like calmed me down. Like after I got to know what is needed, that's when I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. It's not that big a deal. Pretty much, I think it's all about practice in general. Like once I first sat down, the first mock test that I gave to judge myself, it was a little challenging because it was the first time I was trying it. And after that, it was like after a couple of practices, then I felt confident about myself.
So since you told you're working, so how did you manage your work life and your IELTS preparation?
Uh, so during the weekdays, I log off from work at like 8 o'clock maximum. After that, I gave myself 1 hour every day. So during the weekends, there was more time, obviously. But during the weekdays, it was only 1 hour. And that too, it was not like a proper study schedule or anything. I considered watching Netflix also helpful because like I was just listening, and stuff. So it was like that's how it went. So
Yeah.
I studied for 2 weeks, like properly. Uske alawa, I didn't do anything else.
Watching English movies also helps. So, how was your speaking test considering the current pandemic situation?
Okay, so the speaking test was a little challenging. I was freaked out because that was the only face-to-face session we'll have with another person. I didn't know who the invigilator would be and how they would be or how they would judge. They will already probably judge our, body language as well. So I was a little worried, but it was not that hard. The only challenge was we had to wear a face mask and speak. So I had to be clear enough that like the other person understood me. And the other thing that like I was really scared about was that I couldn't read the person's face expressions. So they have this blank expression. They don't say anything to what they don't react to whatever you're saying. They're just listening to you. So that was the one thing I was like, oh my God, am I okay? Like, am I saying right? Or yeah, that was the only thing. But it was pretty chill. Like, she didn't say anything. She was really sweet. She just asked me the questions and she said thank you. That's all.
Yeah, definitely should be great because you scored 8 bands overall. Which section did you find the most difficult and why? Out of the four sections, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, which one is the most difficult and why?
I think writing was the most difficult one for me because, like, I wasn't sure if whatever I wrote was enough. The requirements, like, if you see the requirements on the IELTS official page or anything, they have a checklist of things. Like, to cross 8 band, you need uh, so many clauses in the paragraph, and they
Correct.
have a checklist of their own for grading, basically. So I wasn't sure if my writing was like giving me all of those points or not. So that was the only like I was that was the only thing I was worried about. But like yeah, it was pretty good. Like I can see the word count. So yeah,
Those are the benefits. So,
yeah.
what are the resources that you used for your preparation?
I think I was randomly scrolling through Instagram and I came across Leap Scholars ad, and I was intrigued. Okay, like what do they have to offer? And I registered with Leap Scholar. And then Manisha ma'am's classes were in the night. Like it was convenient for me because they were from 9:30 to 10:30. The batch was going on at that time. The information that she gave in each session about like every task was very clear, and it made me understand what are the requirements that the exam has basically. So and it was practice every day. So that 1 hour was like really crucial every day, that I was okay, I'm at least giving myself 1 hour to prepare every day. The resources that Leap Scholar provided was really good. Like they were previous years test papers and stuff, which I was during the weekends I sat down and picked up one test mock test every day, like every weekend, and that's how it went. So I think it's all about practice in the end. Like since it's an English exam, like you don't really know exactly what they want. It's not like math ki answer galat hai or it's right. You know what you know, and just practice whatever you can. That's all.
So, do you think, if I would have give you two scenarios here, so the first scenario would be studying yourself, watching YouTube videos and learning on your own. And the other scenario would be you, taking Leap Scholars sessions with Manisha ma'am and, practicing from our entire curriculum. So, which do you think, choosing the Leap Scholars option made a difference in your IELTS score?
It was definitely an edge over preparing by myself. because there were more resources, and there was a person who already trained so many people before, and she's seen so many kids before. So and yeah, like it was definitely better because it gave me at least the confidence ki okay, I'm not alone, like I can do this as well.
That's great. We're so glad to have a student like you. So, we would, end this session by one last question that every viewer wants to know. So, what will be your top three tips or advices for other students to keep in mind?
The first thing is to just get a clarity about what the exam wants. Because since it's an English exam, like I said, there is no hard and fast rule ki, if your answer is right or wrong. Every section has specific requirements. Ki, like, at least the writing section has specific requirements that your paragraph or your task should have at least two clauses or complex sentences and stuff like that. So just make sure you know what the task needs. In the end, it's all about practice. First time I gave a mock test, I was sort of worried ki I've gotten so many errors and stuff. But after 4 or 5 mocks, it was a breeze. Like you gain confidence, and it's much easier as well. And like the last minute tip that I would think of is before going, probably just like Google some speaking topics, or if you find them anywhere online, there are many blogs and stuff. So they list out a few topics, speaking section at least. So if not going through all of them because there's so many and they're so general, just imagine the scenario in your head and make points just so that it's a practice that once you actually go through the exam, you'll that flow gets going, that you already have a few points in mind or something like that.
Yeah. So, by this, I can totally understand that you proved the proverb completely wrong. Practice makes a man perfect. That's totally wrong. Now, women can also do it with practice. So great, great. That's so nice of you. So thank you for joining for the session and helping all our viewers here understand how they can prepare for the rights exam and what are the barriers and how they can overcome them. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.